all the answers. Um, she had told me, and she was honest with me, which was fine, but I'm just like, this isn't going to help me at all. She hands me the book. She's like, I don't understand these concepts.
All right, I'm gonna
So
pause it real quick.
here's the book.
Not sure if the audio's correct. Yeah, audio's correct. Um, and it doesn't echo, I think, because it records the system. And then here's the Bluetooth in the back. Anyways, I'm not replaying this story. I missed a huge chunk in this, and this is, and I want to talk about my mom a little bit. Brought up some stuff about high school again, and yes, the only reason why I do this is because I realize that in the near future I have to be able to focus so hard. So all these triggered things that other people have been bringing up are now flooding out in a way that I'm able to tie them all together, get rid of them, and then move back to the present. So that's what I'm doing. And this is part 2 of Anyways My Study Partner, ... part 2. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Ignore the sad part. um, and appreciate that that teacher understood and stepped aside. Um, she did what she thought was best, which is okay. I'm okay with it. She's okay with it. Choices were made. I had to pivot. Uh, that same teacher, though, kind of screwed me. And that whole school, that was at Ridgewood. The LD classes with the English teacher in the study hall, that was at Ridgewood. Um, I think it was that teacher. Anyway, she was doing this. She had this big planned out thing of like a scavenger hunt and books and all what have you. The one thing that because I was partnered up with this dude who was really into. He's like, we're gonna win. I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna win. Don't worry, don't worry. He was having a hard time communicating, writing stuff down, really mixed up. So, um, and then we're working on the project. And the one thing she picks out, and I'm not sure if this, I think this was before. No, this may have been after she handed me that teacher's guide. You know, the one I am going to speak about again. So, so she's been watching me to make sure that I'm okay and how I coped. Anyways, we're working on this project, and it's a book hunt. You get a hint. You read the books on the bookshelf. She set them all up. It was very well done. We get to the end. It was like week 7 or something, and that was it. And then the whole prize is that she would buy us Taco Bell lunch, which that kind of ties into, I think, an audio recording I gave someone. So maybe her karma got that paid for. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I got $40 worth of Taco Bell because I was having a rough day, and I kept my mouth shut, and I'm just like, I want to pay for one burrito. That's it. So I'm okay with that. And then maybe, all right, so as well, my entire graduating class at Ridgewood. Now, mind you, we had to go to the high school after that, and then we separated between Seckman and Fox. But we were promised if we got our grades to the passing point, a pizza party. Never got that pizza party. Bullshit. But maybe the shelter was the karma where I got all the Little Caesars. Now, here's the deal. They paid for Domino's, I believe. Domino's was the pizza that Ridgewood did. Not saying there's a difference, there's a difference. No matter how many $5 pizzas you give me, it's not going to equal a Domino's pizza. Anyways, but maybe there's, I don't know, those shared dinner dates or something of Domino's, of people that I may have loved. Maybe that was my karma payback. Anyways, moving back into this. So the teacher was watching me, and she was making sure that I was not falling back. She knew I was having issues with math, and I think she had guilt. and she had curiosity as well because I had already written the next story following that. She's like, there's something about this kid, I don't know what it is. He stresses me out, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't stop watching. So I think the gentleman's name may have been Keith. Now, I also, in speaking of my mother, um, no, that was a different fight. I'm not sure who I fought. There was two. Well, I fought a lot of kids in elementary school at St. John's Lutheran. Um, the first one, the only one I really remember, there was two ones. There was one because the new kid was threatening one of my friends. I'm like, you don't do that. And I'll do what the fuck I want. Bam. Bitch slap, fight, you know. Anyways. So, cops are called because his nose is bleeding. And I got an assault charge. Well, we've got to follow protocol. We just had the laws change. When blood is drawn on a school property, we have to file that. And they're trying to scare me. I'm like, I don't understand. They're like, well, you're going to have to learn a lesson. You can't do this. I'm like, whatever. So, anyways, I did feel bad fighting. And I always felt bad fighting. But I'm like, you don't threaten my people. I don't care how big you think you are. I also had to fight. Oh, that reminds me. Older kid playing basketball. Starts mouthing. I'm like, fuck you. Start fighting him. Anyways, he didn't fight back because the teacher was right there. But he sure mouthed the fuck off. I'm just going to spill all my elementary secrets. So, anyways. I think 6th grade was my last year. The teacher's name was Mr. Miller, I believe. He had like 6 children. He taught there so his kids could go to school. His kids would hang out in the classroom, specifically the older few. The few years older than me. I know there was older ones that had already been through the school. Anyways, so I was a low income child. I did manage to befriend a female, and no, that was basically it. Like, I don't know, she had curiosity about me. I think it was the fact that I stood out, and I didn't care, and that my mom didn't get me much, but when she did, it was like this loud, eclectic, just cool ass shit. So I had this, I remember and that was in 5th grade. That was the year prior. Or maybe 4th grade. I don't remember. Anyways, I remember the desk setup. I remember the room. If I go back there, I could figure it out. But, so I'm in that classroom. I have this, like, it was the 90s, mind you. I don't remember what was on the cover, but I remembered it was lined paper and it was blue. Anyways, she wanted the blue paper. I'm like, all right, it's gonna cost you. Anyways, I don't know what we exchanged, but she got me money. I was able to buy this multicolor pen that I kept for the longest time. It was you have multiple you around the side. You would press the side down, and it would be a different color. Anyways, I had it for some time. No, that was the same class. I'm getting them backwards. All right, no, that was 6th grade. Holy shit, a lot happened that year. Anyway, so I used that money that I sold the paper that my mom got me for a present. We were going through some rough times, but it was very special. And anyways, I wanted that pen that was in the Bible study gift shop. Got it upstairs. Anyways, I apparently tightened it too much and it had cracked. So, now I remember why. The next grade up, that may have been 5th grade. No, I don't know. Anyways, the next grade up was my teacher's son's grade. And he's walking. I noticed that my pen's gone. I'm like, shit. This isn't the first time that multiple classmates have been complaining. And they're like, well, maybe you left it out. Maybe, and that was the continual thing that the teacher kept saying. You got to make sure you put things away. I'm like, fucking, I know I do. Anyways, I see him. He's just using the shit out of this pen, showing everyone. He's like, look at this, look at this. So I had I think that was all the same day. We're playing dodgeball, and I don't know. I'm mixing things up. I'm kind of combining them all together, and I know that. One story first. So I was pissed. I told the teacher, I'm like, no, I think that was all one day, and then I got escorted home after that. Because I told the teacher, he wore glasses. I'm like, why don't you watch the fucking class? I obviously wasn't a problem. We were playing dodgeball. Anyways, it wasn't, I shouldn't have been out. We were playing multiple grades, I think. I'm like, additionally, you don't pay attention. Um, I must have been a mouthy kid. Shit. So, and he's like, you don't talk to me like that. I'm like, you're supposed to be the judge of the game. If you were watching, then you would have saw the play. He's like, I was. I'm like, okay, let's address you paying attention to the classroom that you supervise. Now, mind you, I didn't have these words. I'm yelling as sixth grader, and I brought up the fact. I'm like, your son steals shit from each one of my classmates. No, that doesn't happen. I'm like, go ask him, go check his desk for this specific pen. He's like, okay. So he goes, gets it, brings it over. I'm like, now, is that your pen? He's like, yeah, that's my pen. I got it. And he asked him, he's like, where'd you get it? He's like, and he came up with some story. I'm like, here's the deal. If I haven't seen that pen, go ahead and tighten that just a sliver too tight. There's going to be a crack in there. That's my pen. Where did you get it? Kid freezes up. Father gets furiated and acknowledges that he's not paying attention enough. So, anyways, he hands it back. He apologizes. Then takes me to the office. I get escorted home for mouthing off to the teacher. So, now, I don't know. I got escorted home a lot at the Lutheran school. And they blamed it on me and my mother's situation, which it could have been. I don't know. I was young. I didn't care. I knew I wasn't wrong when I did speak up. So, anyways, where was I going with that? Oh, the fight. So I'm in high school. There's a guy named Keith, I think, that I was working with. I also fought the new kid named Keith in elementary school. And then I got in one other fight too, and I forget who it was, but that's when I lost my connection with my mom, in her words, in believing her. And then I had to, it like was so hard because I literally fought a kid. I heard him. Oh, that could have been David. And because he said my mom was a liar. Now, mind you, I think she thought it was funny that I believe certain things, but I was that child that said, why? That doesn't make sense. So she would come up with a question or a solution where it doesn't. Now, mind you, she also, in my adult years, still told me that babies comes from storks. So she was being creative and trying to fuel that fire the best she could during stressful situations, knowing that, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. But the connections of how things ripple throughout your life And you can acknowledge them or not. You fully know these are different individuals, but it's easier to connect the happy moments and the appreciation if you connect it that way. Just leapfrog off of one concept until you can get back as further as you can, and then just rake it all up and then get those gemstones. Are those diamonds in the rough? Or because at the time you didn't know they were diamonds, but then you got roughed up and then you're like, I really missed that. So anyways, back to LD, back at Ridgewood, back in I think it was study hall or maybe an appreciation, whatever it was. It could have been American history, I don't know, because I think that was the class that we all died of dysentery or whatever it is 50 million times. Not me. I played it once. I'm like, this game fucking sucks. I'm not dying anymore. You guys can have my time. I want to sit there and do my Algebra 1 homework. Which I was on the math league as well at that school. But because of that break, when I went to States, I didn't know half of it. I mean, I was clinging on in class. And I didn't want to rat the other teacher out. And I didn't. I told my mom. My mom didn't say anything. I'm not even sure if I told my mom that. I think I did after I left high school. But at the time, I'm like, I don't want to create a problem for home. I need to figure this out myself. So I was asking more questions in class. They moved me to the front of the class, which wasn't helpful. Because I get distracted, is what they said. And then, like, the halfway through that semester, because it was just a semester course, I just started drawing. I just cashed out. I'm like, I can't do this. After States, and I bombed on that. I cashed out. Went to art. The art teacher was amazing, even though I got in a fight in that art room because people were jealous because how easy it was for me at the time. I don't know. There was a lot that happened. There was a lot of broken families there, I guess you could say. So, and everyone was trying to compete for something, and I didn't care. I'm just like, this is nice. I get to be away from home. I get to go back to home and then let my mom know what I did for the day. Anyways, so we're doing this thing, and the questions they were supposed to be super vague. But by that time, we're 7 weeks in. I already know the pattern of her thought process. Now, I never said that. I didn't know pattern recognition at that point. But so she's watching me. Keith, I'm writing stuff down. I'm like, I got to answer this. I got to do this homework, and then we can work on our project to get the free Taco Bell. He's like, I'm really hungry, man. You don't understand. I'm like, yeah, we'll get some tacos. Don't worry about it, bro. So as I'm doing that, I'm literally looking him in the eyes as I'm still writing. And she comes over and she looks at the paper. She's like, how did you do that? That is a straight line. I'm like, well, you just understand hand motion. You follow it through. And the little end, you kind of lose it, but get enough. She's like, yeah, that's really not that bad. How did you look him in the eye, carry on a conversation? Whatever. I'm like, you just do it. So she sits down. The class gets called. We're like, all right, you got 20 minutes to figure this out. If no one gets it, no one gets lunch. So, like, all right, what's the first question, Keith? He reads it off. I'm like, go get that book. All right. Look up this. He looks it up. I'm like, all right, now look down. It looks like right there. All right, go get that other book. Get that. So I'm like, put this answer down. Get that book. Put this answer down. And then the last one was supposed to be the stumper. I'm like, get the first book. Go 3 pages back. I saw it when you're flipping through. Go there. And I'm like, that's the answer. Go ahead and take it. We were done in like 3. No, it probably took 5 minutes. But we had 20 minutes to figure it out. 5 minutes, hands it. I'm like, Keith, you handed it. hands it into the teacher. She's like, all right, well, I can't tell you whether this is correct or not until everyone's done, but why did you choose that? Well, it's super simple. It's week 7. You're done with this. This is the way you did it. And I explained the entire pattern thing. And she's like, wow, that was basically it. I'm like, I don't know if you drank last night, but something happens the night before when you're just done and you just call it in. And she's like, fuck you. She didn't say it, but you could see it in her eyes. You're like, you son of a bitch. Anyways, she gets the paper. She's like, yep, Keith and Josh got it. I guess we'll have to plan for Taco Bell. I'm like, you let us know when we can have Taco Bell. Yeah, guess what? Semester ends. She's like, no, you should have asked for it earlier. I'm like, you were supposed to tell us when it was okay. She's like, did I? Like, whatever, bitch. I know you have an odd curiosity about me, but don't fuck me all the time, you know? I don't know. Maybe she was jealous of the other English teacher. Okay, and we're to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Use your time wisely. Use the back if you need to. That way you can stay in the course and stay in advance. My heart broke.
Oh, this was serious on the first one, but we've kind of talked through it
One
now.
of those, and I'm thinking of a name. They know who they are. We had that.
Shit, I just lost my pipe.
Anyways,
Did I?
my LD English course, other hand,
I did.
I used to write so much shit in there. It was hilarious. Like the question was, like, it was one of those end of the year things, those bullshit things. It's like this week, write what you would do if it's like those $1,000,000 questions. If I gave you $1,000,000, what would you do? You have one weekend to do this, get it done. You know that this would be your last weekend. What would you want to do? And I'm like, so you can do anything? Is that the stipulations? Yeah. As long as it's
I
within reason.
literally just lost my pipe.
I'm like, okay, and appropriate. I'm like, okay. So I wrote this.
Fingernails. Okay.
I want to get with
I don't know why
Kathy
that's
Ireland
there.
and BNF in May. At the time, she had just done a photo shoot or Sports Illustrated or whatever. So she's going to teach me the ways of the world. She called the teacher's conference. Well, first she's like, Josh, what did you write here? I'm like, exactly what the assignment dictated. So, and she's like, yeah, but I said appropriate. I'm like, yeah, it's appropriate. You said I had 1 week to live, and I can do whatever I want. She's like, yeah, but that's not what I meant. I'm like, no, but that's what you said. Appropriate is I get to be an adult if I'm going to end in a week. And she's like, wow, well, can't deal with this. Hands it over to the other teacher. They're whispering in the back. They're like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, that was the other teacher, the one that handed over the math book. So mind you, they talk about it. Then they talk to their boss about it, who then called my mom that evening. They said, these two teachers would like to speak to you about your son's behavior in class. Then my mom flipped shit on me. She's like, what the fuck did you do this time? I'm like, I just wrote a paper. I'm like, did they tell you what I wrote? No, they said they want to talk about it in person. I'm like, fuck yeah, this girl knows what she's doing. So, damn it. There's that key. Why is that there? So, alright. I fucking lost pipe. Oh, those are lighters, actually. That'll work. Did I put it in my pocket? Shit. There's a hat. I'll take that hat. Yes, this is how you live homeless. You just kind of, until you clean out your fucking car. If you keep your car too clean, you don't find those little gems. Like $1 from that person. Actually dropped it. while they were checking their shit, trying to get out of the car. But, or yourself from the other day, then, I it's gotta be there. Because I smoked a cigarette on the way here. And I'm a fucking moron, man. Road mixed up. No, there is nothing here. I know I put it in. Yep. Damn it. Asshole. Alright. You are going to experience a little stress moment that I'm about to bullshit. It is not fucking here. Alright, so I'm not going to go get that, obviously, because it took me about 10 trips to get out of Lisa's house because I'm stressing out. I just keep repeating, forgetting everything, and then going back. I understand I have these moments. There it is, babe. All right, it was just sitting in the seat. All right. And if you don't know me or haven't been around me, I just do that. I don't know what I need at that time. A lot of people just let me do my thing. New people tend to really say, you're breaking the rules that I fucking did. I'm like, I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to do the right thing. Sorry. I should probably be in there somewhere. So, okay, back to that. So my mom has no clue. She's like, I'm getting sick and tired of the school calling me and bitching about you. You need to act right. I'm like, all right, let's go to this teachers meeting. Have them explain how why I'm having issues. And then we'll talk afterwards. So they get in there. They try to be all professional. And they're like, your son wrote an inappropriate paper. We just wanted you to know. And then I'm like, and they didn't hand it over. They're like, we didn't know how to handle it, so we brought you in. I'm like, tell them what the paper's about, or what the rules of the paper were. And they're like, excuse me, we're talking. I'm like, yeah, make sure she understands what the paper's supposed to be about. She's like, you need to leave the room. So I left the room. The door was still cracked or open. I heard them. They're like, well, the paper was this. And then she reads it, my mom reads it, and she's like, you can hear her giggle. She's like, what the fuck is this? So, anyways, I'm trying to remember this. Yeah, and then the rest of this story. Like, this kid stumped us. So they call my mom in, and she's like railing into me. I'm like, it's no big deal. I wrote a paper. Anyways, they call my mom, and they're like, and they have talked to me, and I'm like, I don't see the problem here. And my mom's like, yeah, there's really not a problem here. They're like, oh, what is he doing? Why is he writing it? Why does he think his... And she's like, it's just him. Just let him go. So anyways, after that, we had a book report where, and I didn't read it, so I made shit up. I read part of it, maybe the back. Okay, before I get into this, let's separate these topics right there. All right. My mom appreciated me and covered my ass a lot. I'm not sure if I acted out so that way she had time outside of the house, outside of disability, so she could laugh and meet new people. And I continued my disabled process so that way she could be empowered. And if I did or didn't, I don't know. I'm not trying to take credit. I'm trying to make everyone okay with the facts that I'm providing. It's on you after that. It was an appreciation and understanding. I understand my mother liked creativity. She also liked telling the family stories of shit I did. Because she was very heavily medicated, and they kept giving her more medications, which were, each one gave her a new problem, and it was just a steady decline until the strokes, shortly after 2000, I believe. She had issues walking. She loved animals because we were getting too old. She wanted a companionship right there. Even though we were living in her mom's basement, she still missed that original thing she created. That tie into her grandmother. Her grandmother was told, my grandmother, her mother was told she was not able to have kids. My mother was the first child she had. That was her miracle. I was my mom's miracle. My mom was trying to illustrate to her mother, she's like, I want that attention also. I miss my childhood because you had one miracle and then several after that. I missed my childhood. So, and then there's that whole living through your children thing. I didn't give a shit. She let me get away. Well, except for that was at school. As long as I was at school and graduated, she was fine covering my ass. She told me never to go to mall with any of my friends. Followed by, I think my senior year, after I skipped a third of the thing and she heard what I said to the board, she's like, I'm not getting you out of jail. That was her speech. She's like, you've got a curfew. You haven't made curfew once. Don't call me when you're in jail. And then there was like a brief 3 or 4 years when there was no conversation, like you're just like your dad. So that was a good time. It was sad. I wish she was able to do more, but I cooked a lot of dinners for her. I was a big boy though. I was really fat. I did not want to be in a relationship. I wanted to focus on family and making sure she was okay. I don't think my sister understood any of that. She was doing her own thing. She was a girl, that's what girls do. Girls got to deal with guys, and that's fucked. Guys are fucked up, man. No, I'm a guy. I know I'm fucked up, so that's why I get to say that. Anyways, but she would always rat me out. Every time I tried to give her a tip and trick on how to increase whatever. Like, we're in Fredericktown. She's there for the summer. This is when we were watching the series Heroes, which was fucking hilarious. So I had downloaded them. This is torrenting bad. Well, it was a gray area. Yeah, they didn't prosecute you, as long as you weren't obvious about it. So we're watching Heroes. I downloaded all the seasons up to par, and Heroes was on the same night every time. And the way that the commercials were edited out of these downloads, but it was the software would not catch that end clip that told you when the show was on, because it had the same sounds, it had the same everything. The AI at the time couldn't pick it up. So after about, I'd say 2 days, and then it was about 2 hours into the second day, I'm I'm like, man, I wonder when this is on, because we're almost to the end of this, and I would like to watch this on live air. So every time, no, there was commercials in there, and I'd have to skip it forward. I got to the point where I'm just like, you go to your thing, whatever. But I would ask that, because she's like, I'm confused. Who's doing this? Who's doing that? I'm like, yeah, you got to stay focused. And then I would, after that commercial was on, I'm like, I wonder when this is on, because the commercials would play. So I did that for a good half hour. So you're talking 8 commercials there. And then it just wasn't fun anymore. So we're sitting there, we watch another 2 hours, and then she sees the commercial. She finally caught up on the story plot is what it was. It was fucking hilarious. She goes, oh, that's okay. And then she sees the thing, and then she's like, oh, you were asking that question earlier. It's on Thursdays. And she says it like it's just, yeah, I'm glad I helped you out there. I start fucking cracking up. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks. And then I'm like, how'd you figure that out? And then she explains it to me. I'm like, oh, God, you're amazing. We watch the next segment, and then it comes on again. She's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm like, what? What's going on here? She's like, are you telling me that's on every single time the commercials came out? I'm like, yep. And I've been asking the same fucking question the whole. She's like, you fucking asshole. It was hilarious. She also, all right, so my mom and my sister lived in the basement, and I had a room upstairs. So it was the basement, main floor, second floor. So, anyways, I just learned in chemistry that different chemicals burn different things. So obviously I went through the cabinet and started burning shit. First thing pops into my head. I'm like, okay. So, I bring in this clear fucking liquid in this little, like, it was one of those, it was a plastic cup, but is this bathroom plastic cup maybe? And it was like partial full of rubbing alcohol, high percentage. And then I'm like, hey, she was sleeping. I wake her up. I'm like, hey, check this out. And I light this napkin and set it on this plate. Now, mind you, the plate had the thing of alcohol. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then pours that on there. It goes all over the floor. I already had a wet towel. I had already planned this. I knew she was going to do something stupid. She pours that out. It flames. She's like, what the fuck? I'm like, and that's why you don't drink out of other people's glasses. If you don't buy it, don't drink it. Don't burn my shit! I'm like, maybe you should focus a little better. Because it smells like alcohol. Now, mind you, she hadn't started drinking yet. And the teacher, I actually learned that, 3 years prior from my science teacher, a male science teacher, the advanced science teacher. That got A's in, and the one that tried to prove his point. And the thing is that question, like, he had the skeleton there, and then they weren't predefined questions. They were him asking, and then he would write it down. So he knew that I knew my shit, and he referenced what he said in class and knew the material that he had given me. He fucking dick. Anyways, he had a talk with me a few weeks later after another test, and he's like, you aced this one too. He's like, why don't you try in class? I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm doing this for my mom. She said she wants me to have a high school diploma. She says it's very important. She said I don't have to go to college, but as long as I get a high school diploma, we're good. He was very confused. I'm like, it just is what it is. I'm like, you seem like a cool guy. You seem like you got it figured out. You shoot it straight. You know, what you had talked about your summer program, working in Colorado, working with the trees, the fire, and all that stuff. I'm like, what degrees do I need to make? I could see working with you. And he's like, you get those degrees, I'll see what we can do. So he's like, I don't exactly know what you're doing. I really don't know. And then I forget. Anyways, he had an appreciation for me because he understood. He's like, the material. He's like, obviously you're reading this somewhere, or you. I wasn't super smart. I put in the work when no one was looking. So, and I did explain that to him. I'm like, yeah, I take summer school courses so that way I can get the stuff that I want to do during the year because I know it'll be a little easier. A lot of times they suggest gym because people don't like changing in the locker room. I did that one time, but then I'm like, fuck this. Get my basics out of the way that I know I'm going to have issues with. I'll be with all the dum-dums from the older classes. They weren't dum-dums. They were actually really cool people, actually having a hard time communicating, and no one were meeting them at their level. So, and it was kind of a bridge, and I was terrified in summer school because then it was at Seckman, which I knew no one because we had just moved. So, anyways, I forget where I was at. Longer video. Jeez Louise. So, where was I at? I'm all over the map. Let's go ahead and play, and we'll just fall through. Oh yeah. High school is an amazing adventure if you do the right thing. Stay in school, kids. Get that diploma. You're not going to be rich on YouTube. Definitely not. That's not how life works. You work hard. You start from the bottom. You work your way up. You do the extra work when no one's looking. You don't take credit for other people's work. Very simple. Very simple. So, all right. I'm going to hit play. Maybe the middle, whatever it is, and then just did creative writing on top of that. So they're like, choose a book, write a book, or write a report. So I wrote. My grandfather had, because the older generations, you kept your books. You had a small library. You had whatever um, wall of information. You also had encyclopedias if you could afford it. One, if not two, different years. Because they always updated information before the internet. But anyways, I found this little paperback book, worn down, Harry Houdini Life. As a memoir, or maybe someone wrote it or whatever. Actually, I think it was actually Harry Houdini actually wrote it before he died, because it addressed a lot of magic tricks in there. It showed you sleight of hand, a few sleight of hand card tricks, and then it really delved into deep about locks and how to ingest things to hide them, and all the tips and tricks he did. I think he wrote it right before he did all the ghost stuff, the debunking. So, anyways, I knew the date was like 19 something. So I'm like, there is no effing way the teacher read that. There is no effing way the other whatever students have read that either. I'm like, I got this. Simple solution. So I read the beginning, I got some dates, I got some facts. I then wrote the story. I'm like, I started with the date 9 months prior to Harry Houdini being born. So I just did like, it's a misty night. And I used the mother's name, I used the father's name. Like, they were having dinner. And bloom. Okay, no, not bloom. Like, it's literally 12:11, which it's still recording. So, um, I walk through like basically just a passion love fest. Food, wine, the moves he was doing, how she felt, how she couldn't control herself, this type of deal. What I could as an age 17-year-old, well, I knew a lot, but age 17-year-old could without getting in trouble. So no explicit words, but very like classic words, like the old 1950s style, just talking dirty. So And she has parents, and I was closer to her age than she was to her parents. So, anyways, she knew what I was saying. Now the kids in my class, I'm not sure if they had talked with their grandparents as much as I did. So I'm not sure if they understood what smoking meant after a scene cut, different things like that. There was a whole bunch of secret shit they would put in movies to indicate what's going on or what just happened. So, but she did.
And then it gets more graphic and graphic and graphic, and then I'm like, uh, and then I'm like, fade to black. 9 months later, Harry Houdini was born. I don't know what I wrote after that. I think I even made up the ending as well. I told him specifically how he died, and they're like, "That's not how he died. He died like this." And I'm like, "I don't think so. The book says this," and I remember reading it from the book. So, anyways, he's like, "No, I've read it on the internet." I'm like, "Yeah, but this older book, I would believe more than the internet because that is an older book." So, anyways, um, me and
And if I remember correctly, it was literally written by Harry Houdini. So, and back in the 1950s, to write a, and that was the argument I should have had. I didn't care to. This kid, every time I brought something up that he didn't like, he would just argue. So, I don't know. He liked me, but he also apparently I reminded him of his older brother. So he just thought, "Oh, I'll tear the shit out of you," blah 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 blah. And I was friends with his older brother. Anyways, long story short, um, back in the 1950s, it was fucking expensive. Or 20s actually. You did not fake that. Let's say years down the road, someone wanted to fake that to put something in there. It's still, you're talking thousands of dollars to produce one copy of a book of the nature it was. So I'm not arguing that with him. I'm just like, no, you're wrong. All right, you can falsify stuff on the internet. It's super easy.
that kid always argued. He just liked to pick fights about knowing everything. The fact is that after those reports were handed in, that Monday after, I'd at no. It was a Thursday and then it was a Friday. It was the weekend after that. I'm like, so, did you read those reports to get those grades? She's like, nope, I didn't, Joshua. I'm like, oh really? She's like, I did read yours first and then have to go to bed. And I'm like, what? And I had this shit-eating grin on there because my mind just lit the fuck up. I knew what that meant. I knew what was in that report. I'm like, wow. All right. Well played. Well played. Nice little secret talk there. So, anyways, that was hilarious. Mind you, saw her out in public, found out where she was living with her parents. Another one, just got out of college, so we won't talk about what happened after that. Anyways, yeah, these are the things that don't make it in the reports. Mostly because the teachers or the administration or middle management doesn't want you to know exactly what's going on behind their doors. So, all right, there was one in between there. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge in Ridgewood as well, the science teacher used to give facts, like cleaning out your drains.
Mind you, I love the facts, if they made sense. I'm cutting in on this one because this one pissed her off. She's like, if you really want to know how much water you use, just simply plug up your drain. Now, my grandfather worked hard to get the house he did for his 8 children. Big house. I always took showers in the sliding door shower room. So, she said that, and I'm like, I think I'll do that. So I raised my hand. I'm like, so, like, at what point is the measurement going to be correct when the water pours out the doors? And she's like, well, you're using way too much water. I'm like, technically, I don't have a tub. I just have a shower. She's like, oh, you know what I meant. I'm like, if I did, I wouldn't be asking. So she got pissed off after that. I stopped talking to her after that. I think she talked to my mom after that. So
if you have a problem with drains, hair, whatever, to clean out the drains, baking soda and vinegar. Simple solution. Keep using that until it clears it out. If there's a continual problem, you may have to call in a professional. To not have weeds such as dandelions and whatever grow in your yard, make sure your yard is always trimmed at a certain hour. All right, now I had another science teacher, I think for biology, or what, chemistry. It was chemistry because I forget what chemical. Anyways,
yeah, I think the chemical's called boron. Maybe I think it's a B word. Anyways, I only wrote a page and a half. Mine for this report that you literally had to just get a page at least. Well, I don't even think she gave it contingency. She said just be as concise as possible. Hit the points, do good. These graphs basically described everything about the chemical, and they needed to be big, so I blew them up a little bit. Now, I explained the process on how you do it. After you get it looking good and you've glued everything in, you do one final copy on the copier. Make sure it's very clean, lined up correctly, so you may have to waste a few quarters, or I think it was dimes at that time, or maybe even nickels. Holy shit. Until it's lined up right. So it looks like it came off the printer, which technically did, the printer, but not from a computer.
just chose a random chemical. And then there was a girl that I was studying with, and she's like, "You've got a card. Come go to the library, or I'll meet you at the library, and we'll study together." I'm like, okay. All right. She's like, "We will," because this was before the internet. You know, go to the library. We'll read up. We'll write it. So she gets all these books. She's writing stuff down. I found one book. Literally had like 3 pages worth of stuff. I'm like, okay, I like that graph. I like that picture. Explains a lot. I can concise that down into 2 pages.
Mind you, it was approximately, I had 2 books and approximately 6 pages. All I did was took, I think it was 4 pages in the one book and the 2 graphs. I concised all that down into one, whatever I needed for that one paper, the one page, and the second one, and after like the second paragraph of each one, I think it was 4 paragraphs in total. So the second and third paragraph said reference that, and then would explain the graph or the picture. So very concise. Gave all the information you needed, and didn't have to put in any effort. The girl saw me do this. She's like, "You're gonna get in trouble."
Do a little copy. See, back before Photoshop, you had literally had to cut things out. You had to copy them first, make sure it was a clean copy. Cut it out. You don't use tape. You use glue, and you apply it on to the paper after you have already made the spaces. So it took time to do that. So you have 2 options. You can either cut the individual lines out and then line it up that way, or literally print out the letters and make sure you have the space necessary for the image to be applied onto it. So I did literally 2 pages, put it in a folder, looked very good, and gave it to the teacher. So she actually read everything and she reviewed it, and she always put notes on it, and to let you know how you could do whatever. But mind you, most of these students are doing 7 to 12 pages to try to explain concisely as possible what's most important about these chemicals. And the whole time the girl's like, "Are you sure that's all you need?" I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll spend about $3 to get this done, and about 3 hours worth of work. So we get back our reports. She got a C. And I get mine back. I look at it. I close the book. And she's like, well, done. The teacher said, well done. So I close it. The girl that she knew I was studying with asked, so cute. She's like, what?
All right, I'm going to go back to that. Nope. Nope. And they keep popping up this weird shit. Nope. Oh, shit. Sorry. There we go. It should pop back. I'm just going to pause it so you have the same background. Okay. Where it cut me off, and I knew it cut me off because the phone shut down. The storage got full. I did delete some stuff. I don't know what happened. Anyways, sometimes things just happen for a reason. I don't know what they are. I just roll with it. I'm just like, okay, that meant I had to stop. It was too much. My brain couldn't handle it. Sent out an electrical pulse, reset the system, whatever. I took the blame for it. So, moving forward, my illogical talking, that girl was furiated. She didn't want to rat me out, which was respectful, because she knew the teacher saw the report. She's like, that is a shitty report. And then she raised her hand. She's like, why did I get a C? And she was so mad. You could feel it. Why so mad? And then I forget how it played out. I think the teacher grabbed my report, or she did address the report. But she's like, I did this, and she's just railing off how much she did. I did this, I did that. I put all that information in there, and just mad. And then he does a 2-page report, and everyone's like, what? Only 2 pages? He gets an A? He's like, he followed the assignment. He addressed everything about that chemical in 2 pages. She's like, but he had pictures and graphs. Like, yeah, graphs were very informative. Just bam. And I think, I'm not sure if she showed it. I think she showed it. And the class is like, oh, that really looks good. So we didn't address how long it took and how much effort I actually put into it. The presentation was good. And it was a life lesson is what she was trying to teach. Like, you have options. Make it easy on everyone. If you know someone's got to look at all this stuff, make it as easy as possible. Get your points across. Get out. Do not pussyfoot around. Do not try to say, I know better than someone who is experienced. Respect the experience that they've lived through, the knowledge they have. Say what you know. Say what you don't know. Say what you've promised. Deliver on what you promised. So I promised to do that report in the manner that she requested. Super simple. Oh, I don't think there's any more. I did that same format for applications when I got hired at Family Video. I don't think I posted my Family Video talk online. I think that I just gave that to close members that I know. But those members that have it know at any point, because of Creative Commons, well, I'm not sure. Was that before? Either way, they have the rights. I don't have the rights to those. So that's their story to share and make money on. So, yeah. I don't know. Closing arguments? I don't argue. I let you win. I'm not going into that depressing. That's a whole cat in the box right there. All right, real quick, and then it's already an hour. I'm going to be. Whenever you're watching this, just take note that you've done the same thing and just haven't found a way to tie it all together and then paint it so clear that life is fun and that you appreciated all the shit you went through. Once you find that one piece that you know you're working for, that purpose in life, everything else makes sense. When you do the right thing for the right purpose, right intention for people that are trying. You go back to baseball, America's favorite pastime. 3 strikes, you're out. Now, if you view, I'm not sure if I publicize that. That means different in the tech industry. So, tech industry, well, let's say that you're able to mitigate time travel or energy exchange or financial exchange. You can do that through XXX, 3 strikes. Information, who you need to focus on, how you need to move forward, um, what you need to purchase. Now, that could be an AI presence, or it could be, whatever. I'm not going to go into it if you don't know it. You should know it by now. If you looked at porn, you should be like, wow, that looks familiar. Not looking at the nude bodies. What'll get you stuck up is like once they notice you're looking at the nude bodies, the interactive ads are what looks like GIFs, animated GIFs, or little tiny videos. They start mimicking how you move. And you're like, well, she didn't move like that before. How the fuck? Like, that is an actual animated cartoon. Well, how the get past that. They know, everyone knows. Who gives a shit? Move forward. There's going to be a lot of strange shit. Stop asking questions and focus on the questions that are in your mind. They're trying to help you learn how to read the tablet. Let the tab of the past pay it forward. Very simple. There was another word that was. I'll read the room. So the room, that's a literal thing for that as well. Literally read the room and not the conversation, not the actions that are going on. Find out that additional information. So, moving past that. So once you've, and you don't even have to look at pornography to do that. When you go into someone's house, read the room, see their likes, see their additional things. If you're dating someone, and I explained a pancake story in one of my audios. That one's a premium topic. But anyways, you make pancakes. No. I think I talked about when I was doing the wash your junk thing. So, you manage to win a night with a woman. She treats you right. The next morning, it's literally all hers. No matter if she's at your place, her place, it's all hers. I'm always ending up at her place. But yeah, that's because I'm doing reconnaissance. That's what the word is. Yeah, because anyways, um, as you know from my conversations that I've had in this part 2 and the prior one, I'm the type of guy that have already laid the groundwork. Period. And the woman knows when I ask her out, that means I've accepted her. So I think I don't know. I want to talk about one, but it's not a real thing yet. Like, I'm looking towards the future. I'm like, I know how to be happy. I know how to have fun. I know how to get the work done. I know how to maintain family neutrality, because someone's always going to be irritated, but it's about managing the group, making sure everyone has a good time. Had many Sunday dinners, many events, many birthdays, many whatever. I don't think, well, near the end, we started grouping them together. But in the beginning, before my mom's side had 31 cousins, we would do individual things. So it was like every other day we were together. So, and I was a kid, but in a video I don't think it was online. My grandmother taught me her ways of how to manage a large group. So I don't think anyone knew that. Because I lived in the house with her and she basically had to watch me for a few years while my mom was recouping. Um, I sat through a lot of business meetings, private business meetings, in fact, as well. She was Marriott secretary of the president of the Marriott St. Louis. So she had to go back to work after my grandfather uh, stopped working accounting. He started working from home. Anyways, I'm not getting into the family history there. I'm just letting you know that that's how, and one of the reasons why I am the way I am. During those meetings, she would brief me on the way up. We're in the elevator. She's like, here's the deal. I don't want to be in this meeting long. I'm going to give the signal. You say you got to go to the bathroom. Make it as natural as possible. All right, got it. So, and then she's like, you do good. We'll go get something to eat. Fuck yeah. Well, anyways, we had to change it up because the boss, I had to come up with the stories. She had to come up with different moves. We didn't have to be obvious. Anyways, it was the brief up you had 30 seconds in that fucking elevator. You're like, let's get it done. She's like, I know what he's going to say. He's going to want to know this information. I really don't have an answer or the time, but I'm here because it's my job. So she's like, do your thing. All right. Unspoken agreement. So no one had to know about it. So anyways, that carried over into the home life, and then I became the favorite grandchild. Although I was the second miracle, I guess you could say, that carried on the next generation miracle. But my grandmother taught me how to cook as well. Now, she also had the problem my mother had with me. I asked way too many fucking questions. Why? Anyways, at that point, she knew that I would shut up after I get food. I would get sugar rush, pass out. But she knew that I would be able to cook it. She was teaching me how to cook. Now, on weekends before we moved into the house, we used to clean her house. And she would pay us a whole shiny quarter. And, we were there every weekend. So at the end of the year, or halfway through, I'd be like getting this nice movie or whatever. So, and then she's like, my mom had asked at one point, she's like, where's all the rest of your money at? I'm like, no, this is it. I saved it up. Um, Quarter at a time, every week. She looks at my sister and she's like, is she only paying you guys a quarter? I'm like, yeah, I just said that. She's like, that's not okay. You need to ask for a raise. So we go the next weekend. I'm like, my mother says I need to get a raise. She's like, okay, I've been waiting for you to ask me that. I'll double it. So it's 50 cents after that. I'm like, all right, don't care. Gives me something to do. Because she didn't want us watching TV the whole time. So she wanted us outside, clean, do stuff. But mind you, my grandma, she's hilarious as shit. She didn't show that to a lot of people. I think it took about, I don't know, 6 months to a year before she knew I knew her work and how she was at work. So then she started doing that at home as well with me when no one was around. So she's like, you know why I grow poppy seeds all over the backyard? I'm like, in case the economy crashes, we're going to have opium. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? mind you, like I should don't do the search history on who my grandmother is. She's a good woman. Anyways, she helped incorporate Arnold into what it is today. Now they changed the zoning so that way they can shut down the garbage down the hill of the property they bought before they bought the house. It was all pre-done. She knew what she was doing. She had a master's degree in the 20s. She's very smart. Um, anyways, so she was also in the Forest Park back when she was in college, and she got bit by an orangutan because you were allowed to have orangutans as pets. She pet them. The monkey didn't like the scent, bit her. Anyways, I forget where I was going with that. The opium. Yeah, I really forgot where I was going with that. Good woman. Good one. Taught me a lot of old classic, like household. Oh, back to the rice. So, all right. So she didn't pay us to cook, but I always wanted omelets. She got us addicted to omelets. It took all of a month to get used to that. Every time we come over, we'd have these amazing omelets. She'd have tomatoes, whatever. So she's like, "You want to cook your own?" I'm like, yeah. So I cooked my own, and then the following week, she's like, "All right, you know how to dice, you know how to do all that. All right, you want to try it all yourself?" I'm like, "Oh, are you serious?" I'm like, "What do you want on there?" So I got the towel, I got the apron, what do you want on there? She's like, "Well, you know I like it." I'm like, "Okay, all right, we'll do that." So, um, anyways, she had groomed me to be her butler. I didn't mind. It gave her time to catch up, wake up in the morning, and then. Oh, I didn't say that about my mom. So my mom had a sense of humor as well. But let's finish the omelet story. Um, so I didn't mind. I didn't want to tell anyone. She was teaching me how to cook all sorts of stuff, but she got to the point to where I was cooking. Now, mind you, I'm barely over the stove doing this. I'm just all chef like, and it wasn't Gordon Ramsay back then. He was still climbing up the ranks at that time. But anyways, I was in a progressive mood of why, and she wanted me to cook Cowboy Roundup, which had rice. Or was it noodles? I did this last time with this. I think it was Cowboy Roundup. So, anyway, she's like, make sure the water's boiling. And she's like, all right, you know how to set it up? Big pot. I'm like, yeah. Throwing salt. I'm like, all right, I'll come in there. She's like, no, you really have to make sure and let me know exactly when that water boils. I knew better. Like, I could check. I didn't ask. It was one of those things where I felt the energy. I'm just, all right, she needs time by herself. And I want to challenge my fucking self on this. I want to see if I can watch it because they're like, this is as fun as grass grows. This is, So, anyway, so I did it. I waited. I saw the little bubbles. I'm like, it's not there yet. She had asked a few times. I'm like, I'm still watching it. You asked me to watch it. I'm watching it. So, it was a dare. I dare you. I'm like, fuck it. Let's do this. I will do it. So, anyways, so I had told you how my mom reacted to that report. 2 years later, I'm in radio and television broadcasting in high school because they had a little department there. The second one, so this is the advanced one. And the thing was, the videos that they recorded were the skit we were doing. It was like failed world record attempts. So I had to work that night. And I told my mom, I'm like, I don't have the money. I can get you the money out of the bank tomorrow. I need a goldfish. I'm supposed to almost swallow a goldfish. So I get home late, go to bed, I wake up, I'm like, do you have the fish? She's like, I'll bring it to school. I'll leave it there, I forgot about that. I get to my classroom, and there is this huge goldfish. I'm talking like the size of your hand. No. I'm just like, fuck. All right, let's do this. Let's fucking do this. So we do it because it's always about a good show. So I'm like, I rolled with it. Uh, I literally almost choked on that thing to get, because they're like, you got to get the entire fish in your mouth and make a big ordeal about it. Now, yeah, if you put, yeah, it's like 8 inches or 7 inches of this fish just in your mouth, and that tail just kept flipping around, and I'm just trying to push it into my fucking mouth. It was slimy as fuck, and the only thing going through my head again is like, oh, poor fishy's eyes is going to get the, bile on it, and it's going to be blind for life. But you got to do it for the show. I'm sorry, bro. So, anyways, I got my cue. I had to spit it out, make a big ordeal. So we got the fish back in the thing. The fish lasted another 2 weeks. I felt so sad. Felt so bad. And I'm like, fuck, I get home. I'm like, fuck you, Mom. I mean, it was a good skit, but fuck you, Mom. She cracked up. I think I showed her the video. That same teacher, we got my grandfather as well one time. So there was a big, it was the talent show, and then the teacher had talked with me. It's like, we're gonna do this. Who wants to win something or other? Or some skit. No one's gonna know it's a skit. We're gonna pick someone at random, and I was the random guy. Anyways, so I'm sitting next to my grandpa and my grandmother and my mom, and they're like, all right, since it's we're about to go to intermission, we're gonna do a little prize game show type deal. We're gonna pick someone at random. All right. Ticket number, whatever, and we all received tickets going in. Now mine was already given up to the teacher. He read it off, and then I just lose my shit. And my grandfather's, he had Alzheimer's at the time. It was I wasn't there. My mom really enjoyed it. They had to explain to him multiple times. I can't believe he got a ticket. Now I'm not sure if he was just playing it up just like I was. I don't know. I hope so. God, I hope so. But anyways, near the end, I really lost my focus. I was trying to do like this connection thing, but anyways, it worked out, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck did he say that for?" Eh, Ferris wheel. Oh shit. Oh, any more good moments? There's so many good moments, actually. I don't know. Moving down to Fredericktown. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Moving down to Fredericktown was a commitment to my mother. I isolated myself and was there for her. It was okay. I tried my best. I shut myself down. And then when I knew it was coming to that point to where she couldn't take care of herself anymore, I then allowed myself to take the next stage in life, to commit to one person that I have not met yet. First, I had to find myself. then I had to understand that reading the room thing and where and how I had like literally good luck my entire life. And I felt that I was taking that from my opposite. So she was having bad luck. And yes, I love women. Day one, they loved me. Um, so, I then took on that thought process. I'm like, I'm going to railroad my life. I'm not going to half-ass it, because I was half-assing a lot of times. Because I would write it out, do something fun, and then back off a little bit. Because everyone was wanting your time after that. They're like, oh, you're fun, I want to be hanging out. But they weren't providing value to my experience every time. It was a hit or miss. And I found during those moments, a lot of people would just tell you their problems at the end of the night. They weren't having fun. They were trying to have fun. But every time they had fun, they would repeat over and over again why they couldn't have fun. My mom said this. This is what I can't do that. Blah 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 blah. I did also accept that I was this cool because the other person was this cool. Like, we would have to match up, like, completely. Just like she was the opposite side of my game of chess. Checkers, two main game. And we were hitting stalemates the whole time until we met. So one day it'll work out. But after my mom passed, I had to get my shit together again. Learn that whole other set of appreciation in life. Being able to get out of. Now, the problem now, let's talk about psychosis actually. Um, Helping someone else out has now required me 12 hours to be this calm, of solid, just going through memories and talking about it. That is not functioning behavior. I can't handle a job at that point. It's very obvious. Then they're like, well, based on what you said, are you no, that's how I'm remembering it. I don't need to tell you a negative story. That is not empowering for me. That is not empowering for you. Whether it happened, whether it didn't, not my problem. All right. It allows me, it calms me down. I add that extra butter every time I access that memory. Now, that butter is only provided because of the experience and kindness of the individuals I've met past those moments that triggered those original stressors. So every time they do something kind, I add a little flavor back to the story. Simple formula. And guess what? The more you hear something, the more it becomes a reality. So, is that wrong? Is that right? I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm not doing medication again. Unless if my soulmate tells me to. No, I can't wait until I meet her. That'd be nice. I guarantee you she's fun. I guarantee you she's loudmouth, she's persistent. She's got to be a hard worker like me. I'm not saying like opposite. I mean like she knows her shit. I almost guarantee it. All the time, 24/7. And occasionally she gets real tired and doesn't know her shit, and then she'll just start spewing off stuff so confidently. until someone calls her out, because that's the way I roll. Like, I'll keep spewing shit. You wanna ask me questions? It's whatever. I know she's gonna be a good girl and age appropriate. Been in a lot of relationships that were not age appropriate. Usually women older than me. A perv.